At exactly 6:10 every morning, the glass doors of Sterling Tower opened, and every morning the same woman walked through them. Her name was Amara Williams. She was 32 years old, quiet, thin, always tired, and dressed in the same faded blue cleaning uniform. To most people inside Sterling Tower, Amara was invisible. She cleaned the marble floors, emptied trash cans, wiped fingerprints from conference tables, polished elevators until they shined like mirrors, and every day she watched millionaires walk past her without even looking. But Amara never complained. She simply lowered her head and kept working. Sterling Tower belonged to Damian Sterling, one of the youngest billionaires in the country. His company owned hotels, technology firms, luxury apartments, and private hospitals. His face appeared on magazine covers. His name appeared in business headlines. People called him ruthless, brilliant, untouchable. But Damian rarely visited the lower floors of his own building. That changed one Monday morning. Amara was cleaning the lobby when a group of employees walked toward the elevators. One of them was Victoria, the company's head of public relations. Victoria stopped when she noticed Amara. She looked at the cleaning cart, then at Amara's old shoes, and laughed. "Still wearing those?" The others laughed with her. Amara looked down. "They're the only pair I have." Victoria smiled. "That's obvious." Another employee whispered loudly, "I heard she lives in a tiny room somewhere behind the bus station." Someone else added, "Maybe she cleans here because she couldn't get a real job." More laughter. Amara said nothing. She simply continued wiping the floor. Then Victoria deliberately stepped onto the wet marble. Her expensive heels left footprints across the surface. "Clean that again." Amara looked at her. "I just finished." Victoria smiled. "Then you can do it twice." The elevator doors opened. Everyone walked inside, except one person, an elderly security guard named Mr. Harris. He looked at Amara. "You okay?" Amara forced a smile. "I'm fine." But she wasn't, because nobody knew what she had done before becoming a cleaner. Nobody knew what she had lost, and nobody knew why she had chosen to hide. Not even Damian Sterling. Yet, because that very afternoon, something happened that would change both their lives. At 2:17 p.m., the entire building suddenly went silent. A black luxury car stopped outside. Damian Sterling stepped out. No announcement, no warning. He had returned from a business trip 3 weeks earlier than expected. Executives rushed toward the entrance. Managers straightened their suits. Security guards stood at attention. Victoria immediately ran downstairs. "Mr. Sterling, welcome back." Damian barely acknowledged her. "Where's the boardroom?" "28th floor." "Good." He walked inside, then stopped. There was something on the floor, a tiny piece of broken glass. Before anyone could react, Amara appeared with her cleaning cart. She carefully picked it up. Damian watched her. She didn't notice him. She simply swept the glass into her dustpan. Then something fell from her pocket. A small silver pendant. Damian bent down and picked it up. Amara froze. "That's mine." He handed it to her. "Sorry." "Thank you." She took it quickly. Damian looked at the pendant. There was a strange symbol engraved on it. A small phoenix. For some reason, it looked familiar. "Where did you get that?" Amara's expression changed. "My mother gave it to me." Damian stared at her. "Your mother?" Amara nodded. "She passed away." Damian wanted to ask more, but Victoria interrupted. "Mr. Sterling, we really need to get upstairs." He nodded. As he walked away, he glanced back. Amara had already returned to cleaning, but Damian couldn't stop thinking about the pendant. That evening, he asked his assistant to investigate it. Find out where that symbol comes from. His assistant looked confused. "The phoenix?" "Yes." "Why?" Damian paused. "I don't know." And that was the truth. But the next morning, the answer arrived. The symbol belonged to a company that had disappeared 20 years earlier, a company called Williams Global. Damian's expression changed, because Williams Global had once been one of the most powerful companies in the country. Its founder was Elias Williams, a legendary businessman, and according to every official record, Elias Williams had died without children. But there was one problem. Damian's father had been Elias Williams' closest business partner, and Damian remembered something his father had told him as a child. There was supposed to be a daughter who vanished, a daughter whose identity was never confirmed. Damien stared at the report, then at the photograph attached to it. His heart began beating faster. The woman in the photograph looked exactly like Amara. Damien didn't confront her immediately. Instead, he watched. For 3 days, he noticed things nobody else noticed. Amara could speak 3 languages. She understood financial documents. She corrected a delivery invoice once without realizing anyone was listening. And one afternoon, she walked past a conference room where executives were discussing an international merger. Amara stopped. She listened for 10 seconds, then quietly said, "That contract will destroy the company." Everyone turned. Victoria laughed. "Excuse me?" Amara immediately lowered her head. "Nothing." Damien stepped forward. "What did you say?" Amara hesitated. "I said nothing." "Tell me." She looked at the executives, then at Damien. "The clause on page 17. Damien's eyes narrowed. "What's wrong with it?" "The foreign company can terminate the partnership whenever they want." An executive laughed. "That's impossible. Our lawyers reviewed it." Amara pointed toward the document. "The wording is different from the previous draft." Silence. Damien grabbed the contract. He read page 17. Then again. His expression hardened. He looked at his legal team. "Check it." 2 hours later, they discovered she was right. The contract contained a hidden clause. If signed, Sterling Industries could have lost nearly $400 million. Damien walked toward Amara. "Where did you learn to read contracts?" She looked away. "My father taught me." "Who was your father?" Amara said nothing. Damien's voice became softer. "Elias Williams?" Her eyes filled with tears. The room went silent. Victoria stared at her. "No way." Amara slowly nodded. "My name isn't just Amara Williams." She reached into her pocket, then pulled out an old photograph. "My full name is Amara Elias Williams." Damien couldn't speak. She continued. "My father founded Williams Global." Everyone stared. "But after he died, people stole everything." Her voice trembled. "My mother tried to fight them. She lost. They took our house, our money, our company, and eventually, they took our identity." Amara looked at Damien. "So I disappeared." Damien felt a chill. "Why become a cleaner?" She smiled sadly. "Because nobody notices cleaners." She looked around the room. "And I needed nobody to notice me." Damien immediately ordered an investigation. The results were horrifying. 20 years earlier, Elias Williams had died suddenly. His business partner had taken control of the company. Documents were altered, accounts were emptied, shares were transferred, and Amara's mother had been threatened until she disappeared from public life. But there was something even worse. Damien's father had known, not everything, but enough. He had signed documents that helped transfer Williams Global into another corporation. Damien stared at the files. His own family had helped destroy Amara's family. Then another document appeared, a handwritten letter from Elias Williams. It had been hidden inside an old company archive. The letter contained one sentence that changed everything. "If anything happens to me, my daughter Amara is the rightful heir." Damien closed his eyes. He knew what he had to do. But when he returned to the lobby, Amara was gone. Her cleaning cart stood beside the elevator. Her locker was empty. Victoria stood nearby. "What happened?" Damien asked. Victoria shrugged. "She quit." "Why?" Victoria smiled. "Maybe she finally realized she didn't belong here." Damien stared at her. Then he noticed something on the floor, a tiny piece of paper, Amara's handwriting. "Some people only respect you after they discover who you are." Damien clenched his fist. He knew he had to find her. 2 days later, Damien found Amara. She was sitting alone on a bench outside an old community center. He approached slowly. "I owe you an apology." Amara didn't look at him. "You didn't do anything." "My family did." She looked up. Damien sat beside her. "My father helped destroy your family's company." Amara's eyes hardened. "I know." Damien froze. "You knew." "Your father wasn't the only person I investigated." She pulled out a folder. "I've spent 12 years collecting evidence." Damien opened it. Bank transfers, forged signatures, witness statements, court documents, everything. She had been building the case quietly, waiting, preparing. But there was one thing she didn't have: enough power to expose the people responsible. Damien looked at her. "Let me help." Amara shook her head. "I don't want your money. I'm not offering money." He stood. "I'm offering the one thing you never had: power." Within weeks, Damien reopened the Williams Global case. The media exploded. Investigators uncovered hidden accounts. Former executives were arrested. The stolen shares were traced. And eventually, the truth became impossible to hide. Amara Williams was officially recognized as the rightful heir to the Williams fortune. The company that had been stolen from her family was returned. But Amara didn't celebrate. She stood inside the headquarters of Williams Global, looking at her father's old office. There was dust on the desk, an old photograph on the wall, and the same phoenix symbol hanging above it. She touched the photograph. "I finally came home, Dad." 6 months later, Amara returned to Sterling Tower. But this time, she didn't wear a cleaning uniform. She wore a simple black suit. The lobby became silent. The same employees who had laughed at her stared. Victoria was standing near the elevators. She looked terrified. "Amara?" Amara walked toward her. Victoria swallowed. "I'm sorry." Amara paused. "You don't have to apologize because I'm rich." Victoria looked up. "Then why?" "Because you should apologize because I was human even when you thought I was nobody." Silence. Amara walked away. Damien watched from across the lobby. He smiled. Not because she had become wealthy, but because she no longer needed anyone's approval. She had discovered something more valuable than money: her identity, her courage, and her voice. A year later, Amara became the CEO of Williams Global, but she changed the company completely. She created scholarships for children from poor families, free training programs, emergency housing, and a rule that every employee, from the CEO to the cleaner, had to be treated with dignity. On the first day of the new policy, Amara walked through the company's main entrance. A cleaner was polishing the marble floor. Amara stopped. "Good morning." The woman looked surprised. "Good morning, ma'am." Amara smiled. "What's your name?" The woman told her. Amara repeated it. "Nice to meet you." Then she continued walking, because Amara remembered what it felt like to be invisible. She remembered the laughter, the insults, the cheap shoes, the cleaning cart, the nights when she wondered if anyone would ever believe her. But she also remembered something else. Sometimes, the person everyone overlooks is the person carrying the biggest story in the room, and sometimes, the person everyone mocks is only hiding until the right moment. So the next time you see someone struggling, don't assume you know their story. Don't judge their clothes. Don't measure their worth by their job, because you never know. The cleaner you ignored could be the heir you never recognized. The stranger you mocked could be the person who changes your life. And the person you thought had nothing may simply be waiting for the world to discover who they really are. Please like the video, share, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below. See you next time.